Okay, welcome to part 2. Like I just said, I'm having a little audio issue, so I'm going to keep these videos short. One of the frustrating parts about recording like this is I made 3 videos today and the audio came out all gargly, so I wasted a lot of time. But by the time my fourth video worked, I really knew what I wanted to say. So it's frustrating. Okay, but let's start. So we know the case already. These are the starting data files we need for this chapter. In order to do the homework, you're going to have to walk step by step through the chapter to help you prepare. So we have created in our required materials and what I asked you to do before, don't mind all my folders over here, I asked you to create a homework file and then you have your data files in there. So we're going to go to Excel 1. This is the files that we need to access. And in the book it says, that's on the first page. So the first visual overview in the window, it tells you, like, these are ribbons. They contain the buttons for different executions, the formula bars. I'm not going to go through all these because as we go through the chapter, we'll see these. But you might want to reference back to these if you're not sure let me make this one a little smaller. But if you're not sure what some of I'll just make it go away. The terminology is that we're saying, then you may want to, sorry, I'm jumping all around. I don't want to be on X280. Okay, let me pull up my index again because I got lost. Or my table of contents. Anyway, you might want to reference these pages here at the beginning if you hear words like workbook or formula bar and you're not sure what it's referencing. Okay, so that's what those first 2 pages are going to be useful for. So we're going to jump right in on how to start Excel. This says using Windows 7 is the same in other operating systems. So I'm going to go and open Excel. Now mine happens to be right here on my tabs, but if you're not sure, you can just start typing Excel. And if you're using Windows 7, you can start typing, or I think you hit the window bar over here and it pops over. I can't quite remember with 7. I've been on 8 and 10 for a while. But you know where it is. We did that in the first video. So we're going to open this up. Nope, mine is minimized, so I'm going to use the maximize button to open it to the full screen. Minimize takes it down here, maximize, and then all the way to open it up. Now you'll notice these are recent worksheets. I use Excel for many things, for grading, these are files that people have sent me. I read it, I use it for my personal stuff. I use Excel for everything. So here's and this is my personal laptop, not my work laptop, because I can do much more on my personal laptop. So I see a bunch of things here. Under here is where you could start a blank worksheet if you wanted, but what we're going to do following page EX4 is we're going to open an existing workbook. So we're going to go down here, open other workbook, and the one that we are going to open is SP Finances. This is in the Excel tutorial file. Now, looking at page 5, right here, this is EX4. I'm going to go over to 5. It explains step by step how to do this. Now, you want to go through that. It'll explain the min and the max button. So we're going to go through those steps right there on page EX5 to open up SP Finances. And then it explains what each of these windows are. If you are using Excel 2016, this is where some of the steps may be different, but you'll have to figure that out. 2013, this is how you do it. So I'm not going to read through these. You can if you get stuck or you have your book open, but let's open that. So I'm going to go over to Excel. I already clicked the Open Other Workbooks. I'm going to go to my computer. I'm going to go to where my files are stored. So I went to Browse. You know, your file structure is going to be different depending on where you put them, but that's part of file management. So I want to go into Tutorial, and then I want to open SP Finance, and bam, there's my file. So I just went through those 7 steps real quick. Next page, EX6, there is a list of shortcuts that will be useful. You can read through those on your own. The next section shows you the difference between touch mode and mouse mode. This is if you are using or have a touch screen. You could click touch and then standard ribbon for mouse, or more space between commands if you're using in touch mode. We're not going to go through that, but you could if you wanted to. My computer, see how that's different? My computer is a touch screen, so now I'm using not my mouse but my finger to see these different options and moving them around, pinning them differently. But I can see that they're spaced a little different. So I have a touch screen laptop, so that's what I'm using. So let me go back to my standard mode, and somewhere in that I lost my ribbon. So there we are. And I don't want it to collapse. I want it to stay there. So there we go. Now if you lost that, that's okay. We can get all these back as we learn. But that was just clicking around. So far, that's all we're doing. So I've moved mine back onto touch mode, or to mouse mode. I like the mouse better. EX8, the next page. Let's see how far. The next page shows us how to, the next few pages, how to navigate throughout the workbook. So here we're on the documentation page. I'm going to go over to View, and I'm just going to make sure it's at 100% so I can see the whole page. I'm clicking around with my mouse, but I want you to click around within your file too. And look at here, you can see a documentation. Here we're going over to the income statement, the expense statement, balance sheets, cash flow. You can see that we have different sheets that we can access. So when we go over to one, so like it says to go over and scroll through the income statement. So we're over here, and I can scroll with my mouse. I can use this bar here. I can use my arrow keys to go through as well. So there's different ways you can move around, and then if you're working with a very big file, we'll look at those later. But you'll notice each cell has a name. So as I move with my arrow, can you see up here it says I'm in B, so I'm in column B, row 16. And then this is what's stored in that data. Or that data is stored in that data is stored in that cell. If I go over here, I'm in column C, row 16, and this is the data that's stored in that cell. Get it? Excel. Ha ha. That's really what it's for. But you can see yourself navigating. If you don't have this bar right here, this is called the formula bar. And you can see that. If you right click, well, let's see, we'll get to the area where we can customize that, but that should be there. If not, we can customize the ribbon. No, I'm sorry, the easiest way, we'll do it this way. If you just go over to View and your formula bar is not there, click that formula bar button and it shows up. Okay? So if that happens to get closed, that's under View, formula bar, and so on. But by default, the way we open this should be what we're doing. Okay, let's see if there's anything else in the chapter or in this section on moving around with cells, changing the active cell. So we're still in this sheet. Now just notice your cell button moving around. Name box. Let's see. I'm on EX11. Just looking around the chapter, see if we need anything else important out of here. We can select a range. This is important to know because several times, in many things, it asks you to select a range of data, and this is shown on page EX12. Well, it starts on EX11, but let's say that we're in the income statement folder, and it wants you to select range B5 through C8. So we have B, and then that would be 5 through C8. It wants you to select this block of data. So you'll note that is then referenced as B5 colon C8 in the textbook. That would be like, right? Let me go over to that page. Right here is what I'm talking about. So they want you to select this box. So there's a couple different ways you can do that when they're together. And the mouse method, just click and hold your mouse button, your left hand or your left side mouse, your regular side, and then just drag. Or you could hit shift and then use your arrows to move over. So right now I'm not using my mouse. I am using my arrow to go to the starting spot, so say, and then I want to hit shift and hold it down and then move to what block I want to store or select. A lot of times it's just easier to grab it with your mouse, but if you don't have a mouse or a touchy mouse, you can use shift and then hold it with those arrow keys. That's what it's telling you to do in these pages. If you need to select different blocks that aren't adjacent, you would use the control button. So I hold this and highlight it with my mouse. Then I unclick, I hold the control key, and then I go down and select another block. And then that control key lets me select blocks all over the place that are not together. That makes me laugh because when I was interviewing for a job when I was 20, I went to apply at a hospital on Fuller. It's on Fuller. Yeah, there's a hospital on Fuller, but I don't know if it's a hospital anymore. Like right over it used to be Mercy Health, but I went to apply there, and it was for an IT job, and the guy asked me questions about Excel. I was really young. 19 maybe, and that was a long time ago, so I don't even know what version of Excel we're using. But he said, how do you select a whole column of data in Excel? And I go, well, you just click on like the column C and it selects everything. Well, how do you select the multiple things? I'm like, well, you just click and hold your mouse and drag it. Well, how do you select things that are not together, like this block and this block and this block and this block? And I go, I don't know. Well, he never called me back for a job. I never got a call back on that job, which is good because then I ended up where I am, which is my career and where I'm supposed to be. But that was one of the things I never knew. Sorry, got off the track there, but that's important to know. I'm telling you, could get you a job someday. Alright, so now we've done some things in here. Let's close this workbook. I'm still on page EX13. We're going to go to File, and we're just going to close it. See how we can close things? You can also click the Control W, but most people just do File and Close. If it comes up and asks you to save your changes, click the Don't Save box, because we haven't done anything If you did, it was an accident. Now mine didn't even come up because I didn't save anything. So Excel remains open, ready to create another document if we want. So let's end this one, and we'll pick up with the next. We're right now on page 14. So probably only one more video to get through this. And keep listening. Thank you. Be right back with the next video.